with the attached firearm specification for 3 years under 2941.145. There is, the state would recommend prison in this case. Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Hibbard?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I have gone over the plea offer with Mr. Smith. He is prepared to enter a plea of guilty as outlined by the state. I've gone over with him the rights that he'll be waiving and what the terms of the plea offer are, and of course all of the paperwork as well. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Smith, how old are you?
18 years old.
How far did you go through school?
I'm on my 12th grade year.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to read, write, and understand the English language?
Yes, sir.
Prior to coming to court, have you taken any drugs or alcohol or any prescription medication in the
No, sir.
last 48 hours?
No, sir.
Have you ever been diagnosed with or treated for any mental illness?
No, sir.
Did you get a copy of the indictment?
Yes, sir.
All right, it's my understanding you're going to plead guilty to count 1, as amended to include the victim from count 2. That's aggravated robbery of felony 1,
Yes, sir.
as well as both firearm specifications.
No, Your Honor, the 3-year firearm specification,
Okay, as well-
2941.145.
All right, as well as the second firearm specification in the indictment, the 3-year firearm specification.
Yes,
If
sir.
that happens, the rest of the charges will be dismissed. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
All right, before I accept your guilty plea, I need to determine that you know and understand the constitutional rights you'll be waiving, the consequences of your guilty plea, and the maximum penalty I could give you. And I need to be satisfied that your guilty plea is being made freely, knowingly, and voluntarily. I'm going to ask you questions. If you don't understand a question, let me know. If you want to talk to Ms. Hibbard some more, let me know that, and I'll give you more time. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
You have a constitutional right to have a trial, either to me or to a jury of 12 Lake County citizens. You understand that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, sir.
If you go to a jury trial, all 12 members must agree to a guilty verdict before you can be found guilty. Do you understand that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, sir.
If you go to trial, the prosecutor will call witnesses to testify against you. Do you understand the prosecutor must prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt at a trial?
Yes, sir.
After the witnesses are done testifying before the prosecutor, you have the constitutional right to have your lawyer cross-examine the witnesses. Do you understand that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, sir.
If you go to trial, you have the right to have witnesses come here and testify for you. Do you understand that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, sir.
If those witnesses refuse to come to court, I'll issue an order that's called a subpoena to make them come and testify. Do you understand that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, sir.
You have the right to testify at trial if you want to. Do you understand that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, sir.
You have the constitutional right to not testify at trial if you do not want to. Do you understand that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, sir.
If you decide not to testify at trial, nobody is permitted to comment on that decision. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If you go to trial and you're found guilty, you have the right to appeal the guilty finding. Do you understand that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, sir.
If you file an appeal, you have the constitutional right to have a lawyer represent you in the appeal. Do you understand that right?
Wait, could you repeat that one time?
If you file an appeal, you have the constitutional right to have a lawyer represent you in that appeal. Do you understand that right?
No. No, sir.
Can I have one moment, Your Honor? He's saying if you were to file an appeal of this case, you would have a constitutional right to have the assistance of counsel for an appeal.
Go waive it.
No, he's just asking if you understand it.
I don't.
Which part?
The whole thing.
Okay, so you have the right to an appeal, okay?
What is appeal? What is appeal?
Remember when you bring up issues that happen to the higher court, okay? So you have the right to an appeal. You have the right to an appeal. Remember how we talked about you have less things you can bring up in your appeal when it's a plea as opposed to a trial.
He just asked me to understand or to waive it.
What was that?
He just asked me to understand or to waive it.
Yeah, he's asking if you understand that you have that right, and that if you were to have an appeal, you would have the right to have an attorney assist you with that appeal. I think we're good, Your Honor.
All right, well, what I'm doing, Mr. Smith, is going over all these rights that you would have. Make sure, before you plead guilty, make sure you know what the rights you are, including your right to go to trial. And we're at the point now with these rights that if you decided you wanted to go to trial and you went to trial and were found guilty, you have the automatic right to appeal that jury verdict, that guilty finding. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so now I'm going to go through more of these rights that if you went to trial and were found guilty, you would have the right to do after that, okay? So if you did file an appeal, then you would have a right to have a lawyer represent you in the appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And are you going to waive that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. If you could not afford to hire a lawyer for the appeal, one would be provided for you at no cost. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. If you filed an appeal, you would be entitled to have a transcript of all the hearings that took place, including the trial in this case. Do you understand that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you waiving that right?
Yes, sir.
And if you could not afford a copy of those transcripts, you would get them free of cost. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. If you plead guilty today, you do not have the right to appeal that guilty finding. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have any questions at this point about any of these rights we've gone over?
No, sir.
Do you still want to plead guilty to this charge?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand by pleading guilty, you're fully admitting your guilt to the charge?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand by pleading guilty to this felony that you're voluntarily giving up your freedom for whatever period of time that I sentence you to prison, jail, or community control?
Yes, sir.
All right, now, in count one, as it's been amended, aggravated robbery, that's a felony of the first degree that carries a maximum prison term of 11 years. It goes 3 years up to 11 years, okay, as a definite minimum term, up to a potential of 50% of whatever number that is. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I'll give you an example. If I gave you a prison term on that aggravated robbery of 3 years, it would be a definite minimum of 3 years up to an indefinite maximum of 4.5 years. Do you understand how that works?
Yes, sir.
All right. Whether you serve any additional time beyond that 3 years is up to the Department of Corrections based on certain criteria that they have, but there's a presumption that you should be released after that 3 years. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And then on the firearm specification to count one, there is a mandatory prison term of 3 years that has to be served prior to and consecutive to the sentence on the aggravated robbery. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Any questions about that penalty?
No, sir.
There's also a maximum fine up to $20,000. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Going back to that aggravated robbery, I told you the maximum definite amount would be 11 years, and that would be the definite amount as a minimum would be 11 years if I gave you a maximum penalty up to 16.5 years. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's also a presumption on the aggravated robbery that a prison sentence will be imposed. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you would have to overcome that presumption at your sentencing, or it would be imposed. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand your felony? Do you understand your felony conviction will prevent you from owning or possessing a firearm?
Yes, sir.
You understand that upon your release from prison, you will be on post-release control for at least 2 years, up to 5 years under the parole authority.
Yes, sir.
They will place conditions upon you. If you violate their conditions, they could return you to prison as part of this sentence for up to 9 months for each violation, up to 1/2 of my sentence. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
If the violation were a new felony, then you could get an additional consecutive prison sentence for the violation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And if that were to happen, the maximum prison sentence for that post-release control violation would be whatever's more of 12 months or the time left under post-release control. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that if a prison term is imposed on this case on the aggravated robbery, that you are eligible for judicial release, but you're not eligible for judicial release during the time period of the gun specification. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, has anybody promised you that I would be lenient on you just because you're pleading guilty today?
No, sir.
Has anybody promised you what I will sentence you to in this case?
No, sir.
Do you understand I do not have to follow the sentencing recommendation of either the prosecutor or your lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Have you had enough time to talk with Ms. Hibbard before pleading guilty today?
Yes, sir.
Has she discussed everything about your case and answered all of your questions?
Yes, sir.
Are you satisfied with the advice that she's given you?
Yes, sir.
Have you been threatened or coerced in any way to plead guilty today?
No, sir.
Are you freely, knowingly, and voluntarily entering your guilty plea?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions at this point?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Himmeline, if the case went to trial, what would the evidence show?
Thank you, Your Honor. Had this matter proceeded to trial, the state would establish beyond a reasonable doubt that on July 29th, 2025, in the city of Willoughby, Lake County, Ohio, the defendant, along with co-defendants De Niro Logan and Currency Fitzgerald, participated in committing a theft offense of a Cartier moissanite watch from Jonathan Hernandez and a theft of a firearm, that being a Sig Sauer P365XL pistol from Enrique Hernandez. This was done without the consent of either victim. And during the course of these theft offenses, the defendant did have a firearm on his person and under his control, and indicated that he possessed said firearm along with the co-defendants, who also displayed and brandished firearms. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Hibbard, anything to add to those facts?
No, Your Honor, I would just briefly note the distinction that the watch, it suggested that that watch had a really high value, but it was not, in fact, a real Cartier watch.
All right, Mr. Smith, did you hear what Ms. Himmeline said that the facts would show if the case went to a trial?
Could you repeat that?
Did you hear what Ms. Himmeline said about what the facts would show if the case went to a trial?
Yes, sir.
And are those facts true?
Yes, sir.
All right, what is your plea to aggravated robbery, a felony of the first degree?
Guilty.
And what is your plea to the three-year firearm specification to count one?
Guilty.
Ms. Hibbard?
This is just another copy of this. Can you sign there and date?
What my name?
No, date right there.
What's the date?
11/20/25. Sign. This is the same chart that we went over yesterday.
Your Honor, I have the written plea of guilty and judgment entry that was signed by the defendant in open court. It's also signed by Attorney Hibbard and myself.
Mr. Smith, is this your signature on the written plea of guilty?
Yes, sir.
And did you sign it voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
Do you want me to accept your written plea of guilty?
Yes, sir.
I accept the written plea of guilty. Defendant was present on Ms. Hibbard, advised of all of his rights, being a knowing, intelligent, and voluntary waiver. He understands the nature of the charge, the consequence of his guilty plea, and the maximum penalty. Find it to be knowing, intelligent, and voluntary. I will accept the plea of guilty and find him guilty of count one aggravated robbery as it's amended with the second victim of felony one and the 3-year firearm specification. I'll refer this for a pre-sentence report and a psychological evaluation. Sentencing will be January 16, at 10 a.m. Anything else, Ms. Hibbard, or Ms. Himmeline?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Hibbard?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.